Everybody, DayTraderRockStar here, and this is a lesson outline, what I'm calling our DayTraderRockStar's Keys to Success. Keys to Success. This is for futures traders, and this is a basic breakdown of what it's going to take for you to be successful in the market. This little first write-up, and you're going to get this. This is like the company video, the video that I put out with the lesson. So a lot of the lesson will be in a PowerPoint presentation where you could you'll have this and you could download the charts and stuff and some of the things I wrote up here. So you don't have to worry about reading this now, but it'll be in the description, and you'll have all the files and stuff. So when we talk about the markets, and you're looking at the screen right here, this is actually today's market. And for a new trader that comes in, and I guess I'm putting this out for everyone, but I thought about this a lot. I said, and again, some of this is already written out, but I've been trading for 26, going on 27 years now, 27 years, and it's been a tremendous journey because I get to experience so many different things. Experience the tech bubble, the run up, the bubble, 9/11, financial crisis, the flash crash, everything, the Corona, Ebola. I mean, we've been through it all. We've been through it together. I say we, as a trader, if you've been trading with me, I've been trading live on the air since 2007. So if you haven't run into the channel, it's DayTraderRadio.com. I highly recommend going over there. We trade every single day from 9 o'clock in the morning or market open until market close. And we specialize in stocks, options, and futures. But we've been really trading a lot of futures recently. And I've had this, I teach a methodology of trading. And it's a fantastic way to become profitable in the markets, especially for those out there who are taking advantage of the prop trading. This is perfect for prop traders. There's so many different things. And we're going to I'm going to give you the outline of what's going to be important for you as a 26-year-old veteran trader, and I talk about this a little bit more in that write-up before, and how much knowledge I was able to discard after 26 years. Things that are just, out there, and you read so much history, you read so many books, patterns and candlesticks and moving averages and RSI and all these indicators, hundreds, excuse me. When I started trading, I sucked up everything like a sponge. You want to know everything. But again, like I said, over the years now, I've discarded most things. And now when I try to, when we have new traders come to our site, our community of traders that we have a nice community of traders. We all meet up in our chat rooms every day. There's thousands of people that listen to Day Trading Radio around the world. And over the years, we've attracted many great traders. So those traders who are full-time traders, they're great examples of what we do here at Day Trading Radio in the chat room. So before I go any further, this is kind of a secret link. You go to www.dtr.tv/free. Write that down. www.dtr.tv/free. And that'll give you a pass to go into the site and check it out. All right. It's really cool. So this is gonna be focused a little bit more on futures trading. I really want to kind of get rid of everything that doesn't work and just show you, this is the key to success. The key to success is being in the market at the right time. And how do you determine that? I'm not going to go through the whole methodology here. There's thousands of videos I've put out on our methodology, and that's what we teach every single day. But it's based on, momentum, and we talked about pivot areas. Stochastics are our main indicator. That's what I call the foundation indicator, stochastics. And down here, there's a lot of lines. You might look at this and say, "Holy crap! I don't know what I'm looking at." Of course you don't. Not until you know, right? Not until you know. But that's what I teach. So how do you relate these lines and everything that's happening here and here, and how do we know that the market is going to move from here up to here? And how do we know here it's going to drop and here we're going to go long? Because certain things that we've measured out, and I've developed a system of taking different time frames and syncing them, and they all come in confluence. And when they do, and we look for other things, we have a high probability of a big extreme move, and that's exactly what the algorithms look for. So I want to take a little bit further today, because today was a great example. We came into today, and again, we have four sets of stochastics here. We have the 9-3, the 14-3, the 44, and the 60-10. The most important ones are the 9-3 and the 60-10. Those two. You could probably get away with just those two. But I also love the 44, which is my baby, because every divergence that happens on the 44 works out. It has probably a 99% success rate. That's incredible. But you have to know what you're looking for, and it was right there. It was also right here, and it was also a great setup. And we also called that, I think, or at least we marked it off, and we could actually point out. The great thing about divergence, stochastic price divergence, is it's easy to spot. It's nothing that you could get confused on. And when you have a divergence, it's an easy stop to put in. So all of a sudden you have just some major things that you need to pay attention to. Your stop and your entry is already taken care of. And that's half the battle. But as you know, and as I say, and if you heard this before from me, I feel our trading is so good and my entries are so good. The hardest part of trading is when to take profits, We could tell you when to get in, but the hardest thing is taking profits and following that profit up, because the market is smart and it knows where the stops are and it knows where the levels are, and it goes up and it comes down hard. And we noticed a couple things in the chart today I wanted to go over, because this is key, and I wanted to do this part of the lesson. So first of all, you see these big boxes. These boxes represent the 60-10 stochastics, all right, when it gets oversold. Just when it gets underneath the dotted 20 line down here. Now, listen up, because I'm going to give you the secret right now. And I can't say, I can't tell you that you're going to do this, because a lot of people are not in the position to do trading like I trade, because I'm in front of the computer doing the show all the time. But if you're a day trader or want to be a day trader and you have some time to put in front of the screen, there's no doubt that you could get into some good trades and you'll get the alerts. We have a great alert system, by the way, that I do have a walkie-talkie that goes over your phone. There's a special app we use, and I just call out the trades as we're taking, so everyone is connected in our network. No emails. We could also do text messaging too, but this is real instantaneous. You don't even get to read anything. It comes over like a walkie-talkie. If you're interested in that, check the link in the description. That is probably my favorite, and I have it. Well, I'm not going to waste time on it. Look it up. It's great. But when we have a setup like this, so basically when that 60-10 gets oversold, that represents our 5-minute time frame. Now, this is pre-market. This is a regular market. This is Eastern Standard Time here in New York time zone. So this is pre-market, and this is we get a lot of action right around the 8 o'clock to 9:30 level pre-market. And, of course, 9:30 is the market open. And that first hour from 9:30 to 10:30 is usually really pretty volatile too. But they give you opportunities. And what's an opportunity? Well, this is the key. You have to be limited in your entries. You have to know where the pivots are. If we're trading, say we're trading a prop account, a 25K prop account, we could take up to 3 contracts or 30 MES contracts. I want to zoom out a little bit better. Excuse me. This also, because I'm going out and zooming out, I'm also looking at the overnight trade. Now, the futures trade overnight, so this works great for people out there in Europe and China, wherever you are, all around the world. If the U.S. markets are always open, and they give you the same opportunities. So we're looking for that 60-10, that bottom stochastic. 60-10 represents our 5-minute. You can do it on the 5-minute time frame. We want to get that oversold. All right, once it gets oversold, we can mark that time off, because usually it's not long before the market bounces off of that. So unless you were really, real picky, we're halfway there. We're halfway there, knowing that the market's probably oversold, and there's no extreme news out there. There's no market moving event that's keeping us. Our bias is strictly bullish or bearish. This is kind of just a drag out type of market. You want a calm market. You want to just come in here and sneak in, and be in the right position at the right time. Now, again, this is perfect for, say, prop accounts. You're not trading your own money, but you have a higher probability zone. So when we have a 60, what I'm doing now is saying, all right, we're in what we call a quad rotation. Quad rotation is 1/2 of a super signal. A super signal, or kind of a super signal could be a couple different things. It could be a alert that you get on a Rockbot using our script, but normally a super signal is one of these playbook trades. Actually, it's the top 4. It's a quad rotation plus another indicator. So the quad rotation is all for stochastic getting oversold, plus you're going to have a divergence, or you're going to have a quad rotation and a coil, or you're going to have a quad rotation and you're going to be on a trend line, or you're going to have a quad rotation and a VWAP. Now the difference between all these and the rest is that these are just single. Here's your divergence. Well, here's a coil divergence, which works just as good, but a regular bi-divergence, quad rotation, some channel bounces and stuff, where these are just usually one setup. These are the combination of having that quad rotation, which is very close to our main pivot zone. Remember, our pivot areas come in when we have a quad rotation. A quad represents all 5 stochastics being oversold. Now, how do you might be saying, how do you even see that? Well, you're gonna get used to it. There is something about the market selling off, and if you're in here and it goes down to here, it's about 2 points. When you get oversold here, this is probably where I would probably start looking at the first entry, or at least right here. Remember, the important thing is just you'll want these all to come down at the same time. So you want the stochastics to all come down and get down underneath the 20 line at the same exact time. Sometimes this will be bounced, this will be down, but this will be bounced. So is one here too. All right, so again, this is part 1, the quad rotation. That is part 1 of the signal. So we have to have all 4 of these. Once we have all 4 of them down there, we are in a squared area. Or I usually put a circle there, but I put it a square because I was pointing them out today. But typically we're in that circled zone, which is a buy signal on our charts. If you look at the charts during the day, during the show, and I put a circle, it's usually because we like it. So this would be, we'd start to identify it with a circle and say, all right, we're starting our spear. We come into the spear. We're probably inside that because of this. This is where we want to look for our next indicator or next signal, because we got part 1 of the signal. Now, part 1 of the signal is great. A lot of people trade on this. This is another key thing. Do not take a trade if you don't have everything lined up in your favor. That is gambling, all right? You need to have, at least, if you're going long, to have that 9-3 in your, starting to move up. All right, have things start to move in the direction you're going. It's so easy to be on top of the trend. Be with the trend is a better way of saying it. Be with the trend. Be part of the trend, and instead of against the trend. Like, why would you get in here, even if it's pulled back, but you're overbought? You're overbought and these things are all coming down. It's most likely the momentum's going to come down. Wait until the momentum shifts a bit. Now, how do we know that momentum? Because this is okay, but there is still a little slippage. Maybe I'd like to get in right at the perfect spot and put a stop right at the perfect spot. But this is still not bad. Again, I'm not saying this is the Holy Grail. We're going to add something to this to make it close to the Holy Grail. But it is very good to be at least have the quad rotation on your side. And future traders, again, for prop traders out there, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong here. It's worth taking these trades, because the majority of them, once you get oversold and you get a quad, you're going to get a bounce. Now, if you measure out what the market is telling you, the market has news in it, then you want to, be cautious. If you want to go and see some of the stuff that's already been posted, you can head over to Day Trading Radio and, actually take a look at some of the links here, which is great. It gives you a lot of information on some of the setups we like, but especially up in the beginning here, up at the top of the screen here, prop trading section. Let's click on that for a second, and you're going to just scroll down. I want to scroll down to some important information here. I discussed, compare some of the, we have some good input, good reviews on the prop accounts. But we're going to scroll down. And we'll talk about here what the super signal is. And again, super signal is a merger of a quad rotation HPS setup in one of the following. So quad rotation plus an HPS setup equals the super signal. So a quad rotation plus a classic lane divergence or double bottom divergence or relative divergence is a super signal. A quad rotation that's coiled stochastics is a super signal. A quad rotation trend line touch retracement is a super signal. Now I could actually add a couple things there. A quad rotation VWAP is also a super signal. All right, we did go over that just before. So these four: divergence, coil, trend line, and VWAP. All right, and then on this page, there's a lot of great examples. I'm not going to go over all of them with you. I just want to kind of point out this is where you could get the information. But what we're looking for now is that divergence inside our quad rotation. And this is what's going to keep you in the game, because all of a sudden we're in the right spot that we want to be watching for the setup. Now the next thing is you can either take this trade on quad rotation, or if you have what we call a divergence or another indication of a setup here, and it's pretty good actually. You have a pivot here, you have a pivot here, and you have a pivot here. So that's what we call our 1, 2, 3 channel. 1, 2, 3. All right. If you come down to channel 4, right down here, that's a HPS, and it's also a quad rotation. So even though the quad rotation might have started about, we started probably about right around here. It might have fell a little bit further. Market sometimes gets into these, and that might have been news. We don't really know. News will affect the markets a lot, so you have to take that in consideration. But once we're in that zone, we start looking for a divergence, and when we see that divergence, that's when we trade. So here's a great example of that low and lower low and the higher low. That was at 840. It was also a 44 one, which is my super. Like I said earlier, the 44. I keep it on here because I've never seen a 44 fail. So if we have a 44 divergence, a 9-3 divergence, a quad rotation, that is what considered our go-to trade. That is our go-to trade. Now with this trade, I send this trade out on our Zello networks. Our Zello network, our Futures Trade Alert network. Go to DayTraderRadio.com. You can get on the Zello alerts, which go out over your phone. And this is what I want to just send out. This is the most important levels of the market. That's what you have to wait for. You can't be trading here. Can't be just trying to guess where we're going to get a bounce here. We understand we're going to be in the right area. Now we're looking for our second signal, which is going to clarify our super signal, and that super signal is the one you really want to trade. Anything less is more of a gamble. If you could wait for these, your success rate will be over 90%. If you place your stop and you capture these before they run up a couple points, you put your stop in right under the candlestick, you're gonna, these are not going to show up every hour. You might have 2 or 3 a day, but these are going to give you the big moves. And when you're trading prop accounts, there's no really risk. I mean, the current coupon right now is like a 90% or an 83% off. It brings down these accounts to like $24. That's like less than stopped out one tick on the ES. It's just like, it's an amazing opportunity, but you have to be patient. They know that. The prop accounts know that. Most traders don't make it because it's like they're giving free money to go into the casino and see what they can make, but they're going to give it all away because they don't have the patience and you don't have the discipline. The patience, you have to wait for it. The discipline, you have to take it. All right? And that's it. And you have to get on the alerts. You don't want to miss these. You might be saying, I don't know how to recognize that. I don't even know what this is. Well, that's what I do. I teach this. If you want more information on it, head over to Day Trading Radio. Again, I even do coaching classes and tutoring. Just head over there. You'll see all the links and stuff, different ways to take part of Day Trading Radio. So here's another one. Here's a nice pullback. Now, actually, we went up here and we actually had a sell side divergence right at 9:30. Right at 9:30. All right, I'm writing this out with you so you have it. It's easier sometimes to follow along. Again, very simple instructions. Wait for your 60-10 stochastic determine overbought and oversold levels. Watch for an HPS setup to appear. And the reason we're doing that, again, is because we could be into an oversold level for a bit. It's only when we have that higher low on the stochastic. And again, the level of stochastic is very important. Your divergence is very important where you have that higher low. You want it to be above the 20. This angle, you want to have a very good angle. This angle is like 17 degrees. This is a huge setup here. Huge. And it's also 44. So, I mean, that's a go-to trade every single day. And that's probably one that could qualify you if you play your cards right. All right. So that's what we're waiting for. So it could be over. We could stay overbought, for a bit. Most likely, if you get in, you're pretty close to reversing anyway, And if it's a very trendy day, and you know that the flow is to the downside, you look at your advanced decliners. You just have that. You could tell a trend is developing. Then your entries are going to be taken off real fast, and you're going to still make money, but you're not going to make as much money on the downside if the trade. On the upside, if the trade is to the downside, and the same thing is going to be the opposite. If the market is trending hard upside, your shorts are going to be short-lived, and they're going to pull back a little, and then they're going to move a little bit higher. But you're going to have that opportunity. But that's where the discipline comes in. There will be times when you have a nice little downward trend, and you got down here in the pop, but there was no signal. You were oversold here, probably from this point on. And we kind of drifted low, but there was really no signal when we popped off of this. And that's something that's going to happen, that you can't really, the signals we get are going to be great. There's going to be times when there's not a signal and it's going to go, and that's fine. But like I said, if you're oversold on a quad rotation in this zone, and again, we'd like to put that zone in here. Really, it has to happen with the 9-3, the 14-3, and the 44. So they're probably all about, to be realistic, it probably started around here. And then the market popped. So it wasn't that much time, and that was from 52.94 to 52.92. These are good levels to, take a position if you don't want to wait for that super signal. But again, not waiting for the super signal, you could run into a situation where the trend is down, and that's something that doesn't come with, it doesn't come with an indicator. You got to know what the market's doing for that day. Now, again, if you're trading and you're learning to trade and you have time to sit in front of that computer, get on the Zello network, you're going to get those alerts instantaneous. You don't even have to read a text message. You can have it in your ear. And you're going to have these setups come right to you. You can get those at daytraderradio.com as a member, or you could go to patreon.com/daytradingradio. And there, right now it's the launch special. It's only $20 a month. That's super cheap. The prices are going up to $40. I just did this in the introductory. It's already filled up, like 100 people on the network between our members and people on the Patreon. So it's working out great. So many people are enjoying it, and it's very easy to use, and I help you set it up. So if you don't, and again, that saves a lot of problems here, because this is what we want. Look at this. This is almost a textbook quad rotation right here. Now, again, what do we have here? We had a trend line. Actually, you see, remember we had that 1, 2, 3. So we had the divergence here in 4 and 5. That was the ultimate setup. Here, even though we didn't have the divergence, we did have the trend line. So that actually is a super signal. And we did have that nice move up. And here again, look at this. We tagged that trend line, put in a little reversal candle right there. The reversal candle, very important. Now, that's kind of one of our indicators. That's one of our indicators. You have a nice reversal candle, you have a trend line, and you have a quad rotation. Sometimes the quad rotation reversal candle is just the go-to type of trade. And I'm not even taking into consideration volume profile trades, Fibonacci levels, and other people, other indicators that you might be using out there could be aligning with this. If you see this, a trend line, reversal candle, and a quad rotation, that is a long. So far we've identified 1, 2, 3. I didn't square that off. I can square that off so you can see it. Oversold here. Oversold. 4. And let's talk about just three, because I wasn't in too early this morning. But three really good risk-reward type of trades to the upside. And this, again, look at this perfect reversal candle. And you could close that. I could close that square up a little here. Because that was basically spot on. And this is something that you'll get to, get to learn how to identify, is when all the stochastics rotate down at the same time very quickly, and they seem to all be waiting for the 60-10 to eventually get down, and they all start up here, and this is almost done, and then it all rotates, and they all just nail the bottom right there. But such a powerful, that's where you should gotta take your ES trades. This is where you qualify. Now this is just one technique. Now, in a trendy market, we also use what we call the 2020 bull flag, and this is kind of a situation right here where we had this flag. We held the 50. It's really the 20-period moving average and the 50-period moving average, and we wait for that rotation on the 9-3. And if we're embedded here, like we say embedded or above 80, the higher the number above, if it's up above 90 and stuff, that trend is very strong. And you're going to look for these things to break out, especially if they close back above the 20. That's when you start to see that move. And then, as you can see, we had a nice little divergence at 2 o'clock. Now, this was a divergence I sent out as a copy trade. The copy trade is, traders are connected to my copy trade, and it's a process because there's connection issues between people. I apologize if you didn't get connected properly. You have to keep these things on your side up. You might not have it on. You might have it on. I can't control what's on that side. There might be, you might have the wrong contract up. You might not have something switched on. All I could do is connect you to my side and then send out the trade. So I know a lot of people got the trade, but there's always some people that didn't get the trade, and I go through those emails and try to fix you on that. But again, that's available for lifetime members here at Day Trading Radio. And that was that was just a perfect setup. And I think that was a Zello alert too. Let me double check here. So I could always go back to my alerts. That was about 2 o'clock. Let's see what this says here. Side divergence on a trend line here at 43.05, 43.05. 53.05. There's a trend line above us at 43.06, and there's the divergence right on this trend line. I said 43. Fast trade, but we took it as a copy trade. Sorry. Short was taken at 53.03.75. Someone texted me on that. I said the wrong thing. You know what? I do this so fast. You know where it's at. You don't have to text me and say 43.05. You could put 2 and 2 together. My eyes are not that great. But the time is exactly the same thing, the divergence in the trend line. So not 43.05, it was 53.05. Apologize for my error of doing that. I try to get these out instantaneous, so I just grab the mic and I take the trade, and sometimes there might be a wrong print, or I might say something a little bit different. Now, I was going to do a whole separate lesson on this, but this is a great example of how tricky these markets are, because we even have a great setup like this, a great divergence. Divergence is our number one go-to thing, plus a trend line is a high probability. But look at how we came down to the VWAP 200-period moving average, and we moved right back up, and we took out we didn't take out our stop. Our stop was above that divergence high, and it was also above that trend line, but we came right back to the trend line. I mean, would be scary. If you were in, say, you didn't catch this divergence on time, you're in at 53.03, 53.02, and you're going down, it's back up here to 53.05, and you're underwater just like that. It might scare you out. And I see this a lot in the markets, and this is kind of I'm passing this tip on to you. You'll see this a lot when the market gives us a nice, perfect setup. You'll see the market drop off of that and then bounce right back up and kind of capture the trailing stops that are in here. Because if you have a good pullback, you got to know that stops are going in, shorts are going in, and the market sees that and knows exactly where to go to capture all those. And when I say capture, trigger them, sell them, whatever's on the machines, whatever's on the order books, is laying out there. And if there's a lot of orders there, lots of times the algorithms could just force this right back up, and it's very difficult. So that's why you have to take profits. Even in this day and age, AI is taking over trading. What could be, a very choppy day is very choppy. It makes it very, very hard to profit unless you have patience and you take everything. You don't want to look for that home run all the time, but you're going to get great setups. Sometimes you can. I mean, if I had a good divergence like this, I would consider that a home run trade. I actually kept that on for a while. You'll notice this. You'll notice that you have a good setup, and then the market's going to come back down, and most likely it's going to push right back up, get close to those recent highs. That's another short opportunity. When you have a good trend line like this, you'll notice that the big picture here, that if you get a pop to the trend line, you pull back, it's going to come back up here and pop that trend line again. If you get a pop with a trend line, it's going to pull back and it's going to come back and hit that trend line again and then fail. But that was a fantastic setup right there. All right, as you can see, that last setup here today, we actually sold off here around 3 o'clock. We just dropped off from the VWAP, and we came down and it moved all the way back up like crazy, right? Nice, that's real moves. Sometimes there's what we call sell programs in the market that trigger some selling, and you get a fast move down it just for it to come back up. It makes it very hard for individual traders. That's why you have to be conscious of just being in the setups that we define. Now this, even though it wasn't a pure divergence, it was oversold here in multiple time frames, but it started getting oversold probably right, got close to it right here, and then we got a little bounce, and then the market didn't really do much. When it got a rotation here, that's a bear flag. When this stays down and this rotates up, that's a bear flag. It dropped off. Again, we're not looking for anything other than our HBS setup, so we're out of danger, right? We're not trying to just trade everything. But we did get oversold here, and we had a little low and a lower low, but we didn't have that higher low. We had a very slight coil there. And I'm not going to call that a coil. Like I'd like. It's usually a coil is four lower highs. We approach 3, and then the fourth one we usually bounce off of that, and that fourth kind of times us with an oversold level. So we wait for this to kind of come down, bounce, come down, bounce until finally everything is all oversold, and it breaks out. Because it was not an outstanding coil, probably would not take that, and that would be one that you could say, well, why wouldn't we get into that one? We don't know if the market's still going to drop here. We're close to the lows. I mean, you could. I mean, remember what we said. If you're going to do anything, make sure that when you're oversold here, that, say you get in here, eventually you're probably going to end up moving back up. All these setups that were oversold eventually moved higher from where they were oversold from, right? You had to deal with a little chop, but not bad if you're dealing with the prop accounts. And then at the end of the day, we don't do the end of the day here, especially on a Friday. One last thing I want to talk about, the overnight trading. I like the overnight trading when you're not trading real shares on the market. I mean, there is volume overnight with the ES contract, the E-mini contract, and I would still be considered, would be very, proactive if I did see a divergence on the 60-10 here, which was right there. So whenever you see a divergence on the 60-10, most likely it's going to work in your direction. Maybe it doesn't go up that much, but most likely it's going to go up, and it's going to grind up. And it's not bad if you're sitting at your computer and you see the alerts go through, or you see the divergence. Remember, this is what we're waiting for. We go back a little bit further, and you can see here another one. This is almost a little better coil right there. Excuse my voice today. It's real raspy, and I'm still getting over my cold. I got it. But you can see here, just a nice quad rotation, right? Quad rotation, impossible coil here. We have a low, we have a high, a lower high, a lower high. So we got just about there, and we kind of, at that point when this gets oversold and we had type of a series of lower highs, that means this is waiting. This is waiting for this to catch up, and when this catches up, it moves. So just like at right this point, it moved. Maybe that doesn't move a lot, but hey, I think you could have gotten a 309 here and gotten out at 310, no problem. You know, a couple of ES contracts on
connection lost.
Something like this is nothing. And again, find me one that doesn't work. You know, that's we're not trading throughout the day. We're only waiting for setups, and we could just, you know, I don't, you know, we're working on your computer at night. You keep this running. That's what you're waiting for. You're waiting for just a little pullback, the divergence or a quad rotation, and say, all right, I'll take a shot here. Again, that's not super signal. Super signal maybe, well, actually could have been. It was a coil. It was also just underneath the VWAP. And I just like going back and just back testing all these. And here's another one. This is another kind of a great, excuse me, quad rotation. Not a divergence or anything, just a quad. But again, that's your worst case scenario. If you get in with a quad here, most likely you're going to go higher. Now remember, the last thing I will say, if there's bad news in the market's trending down, do not go long. If the market's kind of neutral and stuff, yeah, it's better to go long. And the reason we don't look at the shorts too much is because the market has been very strong. And it's just the way the market acts. It's better for longs on this style of trading. I'm just going to finish up showing some charts. I'll add these charts links so you could, well, actually, I showed you, they're on Day Trading Radio under the prop account link. Just looking at some of these charts. Here's a coil stochastic. You see that the 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's actually a little divergence, and that's the move up. Very simple, you know. This is the key. This is the path to making money. The 44, perfect. Here's another good coil at an oversold level. So a coil stochastic quad rotation, perfect. Double bottom, double bottom divergence, a higher low, quad rotation. All these qualify. Trend line, coil. Coil divergence on a trend line. This trend line's hard to identify, so we won't put that trend line in there because it didn't have a pivot up here. It had one pivot. This made the second pivot, but this was a coil and a quad. And it had a little move up before rolling over. But you did have a top trend line, which told you where to get out. Every trade would probably give you some profits. The hardest part is taking the profits. All right. Some cases you might have a very strong downward trending market here. And that's the hard part, is to realize you probably could get a bounce there, but the bounce is only going to probably bring you to a 20 or 50 period moving average. And you have to have the, you know, the foresight to take these off into that. Doesn't matter. There's always going to be another setup coming. But if you could take that off and not let it come back and stop you out, but take profits, if you can recognize that trend is underneath the 20, and it's been under the 20 for 2 touches. All right. So that's it. That's very simple. If you want more information, head over to DayTraderRadio.com. For those prop accounts, I'll put the link in the bottom. Try it out. There's a good coupon out right now. I'll put it up on the screen. It's 90% off on the Bullinox and 83% off on the Apex. Now, we have a lot of people discussing. We kind of use both of these, and we have a lot of members in the room that use both of them also. I just wanted to give you a tip on it. All right. All right, just head over to DayTraderRadio.com again. When you get there, you can go to the getting started thing, go to the prop section. There's some coupons that are good until 4 days they expire. 4 days. There's a 90% off on the Bullinox. The code is DTR90. Now you have to remember, this is a 1 month, first month only, then it reverts down to what you normally pay. It's $175, I think. So these are huge discounts. But remember, if you want to use an account like this, like a 90% off, make sure if you get it at your recurring lifetime, that's the best thing to grab and hold on to it. Just remember, it's the first month. I don't mind getting these if you plan on kind of risking this. An account here, a 25K account, using the 90% is just $14.50. You can buy multiple accounts. You go one. I mean, it's crazy with the setups that I give you, and it's very easy to set this up. They give you a platform. They give you the Ninja Trader platform. I'm here to help you. If you need any help, reach out to me at dtrs@daytradingradio.com or ironaction@yahoo.com, or just go to the link. So they do have it. Bullinox also has an 83% one off with lifetime recurring, which is good. And that's DTR 83 Life. And the Apex has the 80% off. And what's interesting about the case, you could qualify in one day. Lots of these firms, they require you have a minimum amount of trading days. The Apex has a 1 day qualifying. I mean, if you took a trade today, if you took that super signal, that copy trade on your own and just followed it all the way down and closed it out to close, you probably would have qualified. But anyway, would have, should have. 1 day qualify. You could do that. You could use this up to 20 accounts. That's a pretty decent. That brings down the. I think it brings down the cost of a 25K to like $24.50 or something like that, which is still very cheap. It's less than a tick on the ES, or a point on the ES. The replicant copy trade, if you have multiple accounts, you want to take trades across all your accounts. That's what most people do. Here's a code for that. It's a 20% off code. It's the best out there. These are always the best. So this is where you could get these codes. And Mr. Top Step also giving us a deal here. And this is where you get your future trade alerts. Remember we were talking about those Zello alerts? Right here. You can learn more. Click on that. And well, actually, let's go back here. This is the craziest deal out there. Again, very simple. Download. Click on that. Just $20 a month. It breaks down how to set it up, how to sign up for it. I give you all the information on how to connect it to your phone. It's very easy. The signals that I send out, what type of signals, how often they go out. A lot more information here. The set of rules that we use for this super signal. All right, and then some more charts on exactly what we use it for. And that's at the Day Trading Radio. Just scroll down on the Day Trading Radio. See a link to that right there. And last but not least, there is a special mastermind program that I've been doing. And it is a special, it's what we do here is kind of take you from step one all the way to, or from point A to Z, basically. Get you set up on everything. This is probably my hands-on thing. You get connected to me through the Zello. You talk to me during the day. It gives you lifetime privileges to all the bots and everything. It is an absolutely fantastic program. I only have like a couple of spots because it requires me to have multiple one-on-one sessions with you. All right, so this is something that if you want to learn to trade this way, and you're not familiar with trading, and you want to just get the rights, and have someone trade with you, you get the courses. I have the divergence course. I have the foundation course. All the courses, I go over the courses with you one-on-one. I give you personal support through our app, and we talk during the day. You get all our tools and all our bots. You get the super signals. You get everything, especially if you're doing prop accounts. You're doing a prop account, you could run the super signal on a prop account. All right? You can do that. That's so great. I help you set that up. We do a one-on-one session. I set it up for you. And the dedicated, you get 5 sessions, 90-minute sessions, 5 sessions. That's over a $500 and something value. And that's cheap. I do that for members. And if you want just to do that separately, you don't have to be, you could go to Day Trading Radio, see a link for one-on-one sessions I offer. And then everything here for life, you get it all for life. And you have access to the copy trading project. You could attach your copy trader to my copy trader and do that. So that is, and again, I kind of go over the curriculum here. So just click on that if you want to find out. It's very cheap. It's $17.99, $95 lifetime. That's it's separately. The courses are $500. Separately, the tutoring 5 one-on-one sessions is over $500. The bots and the scripts that you own are worth $1,000. plus the lifetime membership, the chat room, and everything. This is well worth the. It's everything. It's a great opportunity, and to have. I think we have 4 spots available, and I have to kind of stagger those spots per month because of the time I had to put in and doing one-on-one sessions. All right, so we don't. This is a mastermind program. I only handle about 5 to 6 traders at a time. 2 of the slots are already taken. I'm only going to take about 3 or 4 more traders. That way, I don't have my hands full. And this is where you could go today. If you have any questions on that, you could reach out to me at ironaction@yahoo.com or DTRS@daytradingradio.com. I think we got through everything right there. All right. Hope you had a great. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you in the markets.